Good morning, guys. Thank you for the wonderful love which you guys have shown me in my first video on how to claim the refund of the ITC, which has been accumulated on the account of inverted duty structure in GST. And that has given me an immense push for making my second video on financial investments. That is, where to invest, why to invest, and what all avenues we have. How is equity better than any other form of investment? What all methods do we have for investing in equity? That is the share market, the mutual funds, and how is a mutual fund having a better advantage of directly investing in share market? So here I'll begin with my video. So as said in this video, we'll study out financial planning. So we'll study why do we save, how much do we need to spend, how much do we need to invest. That. So Warren Buffett had correctly said, do not save what is left after spending, but spend what is left after saving. So first we need to understand why do we need to save. Well, we all have goals of our life. To own a house might be for our children's education, children's marriage, for a peaceful retirement, and to, of course, leave some legacy for our next generation. But how do we achieve that? It's only really essential, or a savings the only sufficient, or we even need to make our savings sweat for itself to grow. And that is how we'll beat inflation. So we need investments to beat the cost of inflation and to grow our savings. So let's see example where we had rupees 100 with us and a scenario in which we didn't invest that amount and we kept in our home's locker. The nominal value over 10 years remains same, that is 100 rupees remains still as 100 rupees. However, the real value has decreased because the prices of various articles has increased and accordingly our purchasing power has decreased. In this example, we have seen or we have considered the inflation at the rate of 5%. After 10 years, the real value of money is 61.4. However, if we had invested the amount at 6% per annum, the amount would have grown from rupees 100 to 179 and the real value would have been 110. That is around 50 rupees more than the real value if we had not invested the amount. One more example of sugar. See, the price of sugar today is 40 rupees per kg and we have rupees 1000 with us. And accordingly, we can buy 25 kgs of sugar with us. However, after 10 years, the price of sugar will increase to say rupees 60 and the value of money which we have today remains the same, that is rupees 1000 in case we didn't invest it, and accordingly we can buy only 15.4 kgs out of it. However, had we invested the amount at the rate 8% per year, the amount would have gone to rupees 2160 and accordingly we would have been able to buy 33.2 kgs of sugar. So a whopping 18 kgs more had we invested the amount for 10 years at the rate of 8%. So this graph shows us that the monthly expense will keep on increasing year by year and the value of money will keep on decreasing year. So what's the solution to beat the inflation? We need to save, we need to invest. We'll understand and bend on the power of compounding and thus our hard-earned money which we have saved and invested will also help us to beat the inflation. So now that we know that investment is very important for us, let us know what are the avenues where we can invest. We can invest our funds in bank deposits, we can do insurance, we can buy property, we can invest in mutual funds, we can invest in golds, we can invest in the stocks market, and we can invest in bonds. Having known the avenues, let us understand the returns given by various asset classes, that is the least risky, that is FD or savings account, and that is the most risky, the share market, in the last 35 years. Yes, guys, 35 years, from 82 to 2017. The inflation was 6.5% and the bank FD has given an average return of 8.9% every year. And in the same period, the Sensex has grown by over 16% every year. We know the market has fallen various times in the 35 years, but still the return given by the share market, that is Sensex, has been 16% approximately, which is approximately 7% more than that given by our FDs. However, we all know the mutual funds, the share market is subject to market risk, but for a long-term investor, there is no cost to worry. This is a graph which shows the various periods during which, the years during which the market has fallen. We can see in 2008, the market fell drastically. It fell from around 20,000 to approximately 10,000. but then it has grown now to around 42,000. And but we all know the current pandemic, the current coronavirus, the COVID-19 has made a huge fall in the market. So guys, we'll understand further, is this the right time to buy or not? And the timing is really important or not for the share market if you are a long-term investor. Now this graphical representation shows us the return provided by various assets, various investment avenues. The savings account can give us 3.5% return every year. Our FDs can give us 6.5 returns per year, but however the rates are decreasing day by day. The mutual funds has given a return of 12% based on the last 10 years performance, and the stock market has given a return of 15%. This shows the equity has given us more return than our normal FDs or the savings account or the NSTs or PPFs. So what are advantages of equity investment? There's a capital appreciation. We all know our money grows, of course, subject to market risk. We all know we get dividends. So how do we get dividends? When we invest in a company's share, when the company performs better, the results are good, they earn profit, and those profits are given to the shareholders. That is called as dividend. There is a risk dilution through diversification. If we invest our money in different companies, we get diversification of risk. Even if a certain company does not perform good or a certain sector is not performing good, the other sector will perform better and give us more money. There is liquidity. That means we can anytime sell our shares and get our money back. Of course, it is tax efficient because the long-term capital gains up to rupees 1 lakh per year is exempt. And accordingly, we can plan and gain a return without paying any tax. And over the long term, it has been seen that equity markets are one of the best avenues for investment as returns are very, very high. But please note, it is subject to volatility in the short term, but for the long term, it has proven to be the best in the past. So now that we know that equity form investment is very good for us, so how do we go about it? What are the avenues to invest in equity market? Either we can buy shares directly in the share market or we can invest through mutual funds. But some risk lies for investing directly in the mutual fund. We do not do a robust analysis of the companies. How is the company performing? And hence we might fall in a pitfall and end up having huge losses. We don't have the ability to diversify funds because we might not have a big chunk of money. We might have a small amount of money through which we can invest only in shares of one or two companies. Accordingly, we don't enjoy the benefits of diversification. It is subject to misunderstanding of risk and other costs to the investment. And also, we don't get the knowledge about what is happening in different companies and how are different sectors performing, and hence we might end up with a wrong decision and lose our hard-earned money. Well, how can we avoid these risks? We can avoid this risk easily by investing through mutual funds. This slide shows us why is mutual fund better than directly investing through the share market. It is convenient for the small investors as we can invest in small amounts and also at the same time get the benefit of investing in big companies. We'll understand the process a bit later. First, let us all understand the benefits provided by the mutual funds. There's a professional management who looks after our money. There's easily liquidity of money. We can sell our mutual funds anytime and get back our money. There is diversification of risk because through our small monies gathered together from various investors, the mutual fund managers get a large amount of money which they can invest in securities of various companies, and hence there is diversification of risk. A good potential of return is there as they are qualified professionals who are investing our money, whose daily business is to search different companies, analyze their performance, and invest in their securities. Like we do best when we do our business, similarly, they are best at their business. It is well regulated by the SEBI regulations, and hence the protection for investors are there. There is low operating cost, and the tax benefit is also there. Long-term capital gain up to rupees 1 lakh is exempt per financial year. Now let's understand how does the mutual fund work. There are a pool of investors who pool their money and give it to a fund manager. The fund manager has access to a huge crowd and hence a huge amount of money is gathered. With the amount of money gathered, the fund manager can invest his money with securities of various companies and hence generates return for us, which is passed back to the investors. So hence a professional qualified person is there whose day-to-day work is studying about different companies and hence investing in the best securities. Now that we have known how a mutual fund works, let's know that there are various schemes in mutual fund like the equity schemes, the debt schemes, the hybrid schemes, and the liquid schemes, and many other schemes. The equity scheme invests in equities and the equity-related investments of various companies. Please note, it is only for those investors who are seeking a long-term growth but volatility in the short term, and is suitable for investors with higher risk appetite and the longer investment horizon. It is not suitable for investors who are looking for a short-term period of investments, because in short term, the share market is volatile. Now, the schemes, various schemes and the returns and the risk of related to various schemes. The equity schemes do provide higher risk, but the returns provided are very high. The hybrid schemes provides moderate returns, but the risk involved is also moderate. The debt schemes have a lower to moderate risk, but also a lower to moderate return. And the liquidity schemes, though there's a very low risk, but the returns are also very low. And this is a graph which shows that the risk increases, the return also increases, both for the debt and the equity. In the debt, lowest risky is overnight funds, but to generate the lowest return. And the maximum return provided is by the debt-oriented hybrid schemes, and the risk is also high. In equity, similarly, the small cap funds are the riskiest funds, and the equity savings fund are the least risky funds, and comparatively, the return is also similar. So now that we know that the mutual funds investments are good for a long-term horizon, so let's know how can we invest in it. Either we can do a lump sum investment and add additional amount whenever we have funds, or either we can go for an SIP or an STP, or we can switch between schemes various times. So lump sum investment is something similar to doing FD. Like we have a sum of money at present with us, and then we can invest that amount anytime, whenever we want to. SIP is putting forward a small amount of money at every month, or might be every 2 months, or might be every week, or might be every day. And it automatically gets deducted from the bank account once instruction is given to the AMC to collect the same from our bank. We will study the advantages of SIP in proceeding slides. STP is a mechanism through which automatically, similarly to SIP, an amount of investment already done in a particular scheme is put out from that particular scheme and transferred to another scheme. And hence the word systematic transfer plan. Inter-scheme switches. This means our fund are switched from one particular scheme to another scheme on our advice given to the AMC. So now on the further slide, and before providing you with the advantage of SIP, I'll show you an example through which you'll understand how exactly SIP works. There was a person who started an SIP for an amount of 25,000. In year 2008, he started, and towards the end of the year, there was a loss of 9.16%. Some investors were afraid and they sold off their investment at a loss, but some kept on their money for the next year. This year also there was a huge loss, and the loss turned to around 31.54%. Some still exited with a huge loss, but some kept patient and invested further. Now the market turned bullish. In the same year, total amount invested in the 3 years went up to 9 lakh, but the investment value, which had fallen by 31.54%, increased by 17.43% just in a span of 1 year. And accordingly, we can see till 2019, 31st December 19, he had a return of 15.9% every year. His 38 lakh 25,000 investment grew to 1 crore 13 lakh investment. However, we can see till 31st March 20, the market went down due to the COVID-19, and his 39 lakh investment has fallen down to 76 lakh 87,000. So this is the time we should keep patience, just like we kept patience in the year 2 of his investment, and then we can see in the year 3 the amount grew. Similarly, keep investing in this period so that our amount grows in the next year. Might be it takes 1 or 2 years time for the industry to evolve, perform better, but the results might obviously be better, and the share market might again go up. So don't let the market noise stop your SIP investments. Volatile market conditions may impact your SIP returns in the short term, but generally over the long term, the SIP returns deliver returns, good returns. Ups and downs in the market helps to reduce the overall cost of the investment, the SIP investment, and that is where the average costing comes into play. And I'll explain you what is average cost. For SIP investor, volatility is your friend and not your enemy, because the average cost of purchase comes down. We need to treat our SIP investments like a bamboo tree. One waters the bamboo tree for 4 years and nothing happens. The seed remains in the ground. In the fifth year, the bamboo trees goes to touch the sky. In SIP investments, the fifth year can be any year. Start planning your seeds today for a better financial future tomorrow. Link every SIP to a goal. You should have a goal in mind, because if you don't have a goal, you will tend to stop your SIP when the markets are down, and that is where you will harm yourself. Let your money work harder and enjoy the power of SIP over time. Well, some advantages which I said I'll inform you regarding SIP are these. It enables regular investments without any additional paperwork. Paperwork might have to be done if you're doing it manually only for the first time, and for the going forward, the amount will automatically start getting deducted from the bank account. It is convenient for small investments. Rupee cost averaging benefit is there to counter the volatility. It brings down the average cost of your investment, and will definitely study and see an example what is the average cost benefit. There's the power of compounding. We'll see that. So what is rupee cost averaging? One does not have to worry about when to invest and how much to invest. Considering daily market movement, a systematic investment reduces the risk significantly. It eliminates the need to time your investment in equities. There is no need to time your investment. Just keep on investing every month or every week or every day. It smoothens the impact of market fluctuations, and hence it reduces the risk of investing in volatile markets. The risk of the volatility gets negated with more units being purchased when the price is low. So when the market falls, the NAV comes down and you get more units. NAV is the price of buying one unit of a mutual fund scheme. So here is an example. If someone invested rupees 10,000 every month, so let's see how it affects. When the market is rising, in the first month, the NAV is rupees 10 and you got 1,000 units allotted. Similarly, in the second month, the NAV was 10.5 and you got 952 units allotted. In year 2, the NAV increased to 12, you got lesser units. And similarly to year 6, in the month 6, the NAV was 18 and you got units 555.56. Here we see the average purchase NAV was 13.58, but because we had an SIP in it, we got it for 12.92. That means our average purchase cost is less than what the actual cost average purchase NAV was during the 6 periods. So hence our SIP helps us reduce the average cost of purchase. Similarly, now we see the power of compounding. Someone started to invest his SIP, started SIP at age of 25, and he continued his SIP till the age of 60. He was able to invest 4,20,000, and the value at the end of 60 years was 23,09,000. However, someone who started at the age of 40 would invest 240, and the amount was value was 5,92,947. Thus, we can see that a difference of 15 years and an investment difference of only 1,80,000 rupees costed him more than 17 lakh rupees. So the sooner you start, the better you start, and it makes a lot of difference. And this is the power of compounding. Similarly, SIP is for investment. There is a concept called SWP, called withdrawal, SWP, systematic withdrawal plan. This means instead of withdrawing your money from the mutual fund at a go, you can do an SWP in which a fixed amount of money will keep coming to you either every month or every bi-monthly as per your choice. So as SIP is done when we earn, SWP will come, should be done when we are at our retirement. Also, in mutual fund, there's a scheme called ELSS mutual fund, which is done by a business family or anyone earning money, and which can save you rupees 1,50,000 of taxable income. So, if you are a 30% tax slab, you can save a income tax of 45,000 rupees by investing rupees 1.5 lakhs every year in ATC, that is an ELSS mutual fund. So here are the various options, the tax saving instruments in which you can invest for claiming benefit under ATC of the Income Tax Act. You have EL scheme of mutual fund, you have tax saving FDs, and you also have PPF. However, the lock-in period in the mutual fund is 3 years, in tax saving FD is 5 years, and in PPF is 15 years. So you can just take out your money out of the mutual fund after 3 years, and if you're short of money, you can invest the same money again. The minimum amount required for investing in a mutual fund, tax saving mutual fund, is 700 rupees, which goes to rupees 100 in which is rupees 100 in tax saving FD, and again 500 for mutual fund. However, as per the past returns, we can see the tax saving mutual fund has given a return of 11 to 15%, where FD has given 6.5 to 8.25%, and a PPF has given 8%. the mutual fund has performed better in this regard. However, with a higher return, the mutual fund comes with a higher risk also. Also, with regard to taxation, the tax saving mutual fund, if you have a capital gain up to rupees 1 lakh, the same is exempt. So, no tax to be paid by you up to rupees 1 lakh. However, the FD is taxable. But again, the interest received from PPF is tax free. However, comparing the returns, we can see the returns provided by tax saving mutual fund over the long run has been better than any other tax saving instrument. Now that we are well accustomed with the benefits of the mutual funds, let's know the cost involved with mutual fund, investment in mutual funds. Guys, there is no cost of acquisition, there is no cost of holding the mutual funds. However, there is one cost, that is the cost of exit. That too, only if you exit or redeem your mutual funds in the first year. Please note, there is no cost for stopping the SIPs in between, but only if you redeem your mutual funds within a year of your investing. And that too is only 1%. Also, your financial advisor might charge you for the service given by them. Otherwise, there is no further cost of investment in mutual funds. How do I redeem? Redemption is very easy process, and you get your money back in T plus 2 days. That is transaction plus 2 days. Now the question might arise: can I move my investments from one scheme to another? Yes, definitely. If you have funds in the same AMC, that is the same company, you can definitely transfer your funds from one scheme to another. Thank you guys. I hope I have been very clear in providing you an insight on how equity scheme investments are better and how mutual funds is much better instead of directly investing in share market. I hope you guys will love this video and go ahead and contact a financial advisor and invest in equity or mutual funds. Thank you guys. If any further queries you have, you will contact me in the below mentioned number or the email ID. Thank you guys.